This week on It's Happening Out.
This cute looking, like slightly femme looking guy approaches me. We start dancing with each other. He like grabs my butt.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Can I just say, y'all, thank you.
It's all happening out tonight with your hosts, gay guru Al Ferguson, lesbian activist Faye What, pansexual leather daddy Elimination, drag queen and comedian Auntie Maine, Latino muscle bear Jonathan Casañas, Gen Z political advocate Maxx Fenning, Gen Z bear and actor Cameron Glass, leadership coach and leather sir Mark Pettitt, Indo-Caribbean artist TriniDaddy, Muslim American communications exec Cal Gajraj. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, good evening and welcome to It's Happening Out. This is the world's most popular live gay television talk show. We're broadcasting live and then on demand, and on demand on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire Television, and of course, YouTube and Facebook. It's 9 p.m. Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. I'm your host, Al Ferguson. As you know, Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbian, trans, students and youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social activism, and faith. Help us support our community. All right, let's have some fun. First off, TikTok. It has become the top source for viral content on the internet. You can find everything from recipes, hot guys, and vacation clips. And by the way, nothing says vacation like a cruise on Virgin Voyages. Virgin has been an iconic supporter of the LGBTQ plus community and your number one choice of LGBTQ plus vacation experiences. Value is the word, a value they deliver with being an adult-only cruise, Wi-Fi included, 20 plus eateries included, tips included, and essential drinks included. That's the value. And their values are also self-evident. Virgin Voyages fights for equality and the right to be seen, heard, and included. So whether an LGBTQ plus cruise charter, Pride Month celebrations, or countless sponsorships of our charities and nonprofits, this is why Virgin Voyages is part of our best TikTok of the week. So each week we will show our favorite TikTok video. And our favorite TikTok of the week is Story Time from Ricky Lou.
So it's just at the club, and then this cute looking, like slightly femme looking guy approaches me. We start dancing with each other. He like grabs my butt, we could grind for a bit. And then I turn around, I look at him, and then I like run my hand along his chest, and then I was like, wait a second. These are like tits. And then I was like, what's your name? And then in a really high-pitched woman's voice, this person goes, Tiffany. And I was like, I thought you were a man. And then she was like, I thought you were a lesbian. I mean, here's the thing, I don't blame her. And if you think I'm a woman, wait till you see my friend. We're just like a lesbian couple.
Totally.
First of all, those were twins.
Oh my goodness, because they're both Asian?
No, because they have the exact same haircut. And like,
Mark kind of has that haircut too.
Exactly. My
Triplet.
as a lesbian.
This,
got
hey,
you.
this is why I have to walk into the club backwards, so
They're
you at least
triplets.
get the bald spot first.
All right.
I just picture that, Mark.
All right.
So I think this is super cute. It's one of my favorite TikToks because I love how like the whole label thing is like not really a big deal. They're just like, wait, you're a man? No, you're a dude. You're a woman. You're whatever, lesbian. Like, and there's no like offense taken, and they just kind of all have a laugh about it. And I'm like, that.
So this is not real world.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
But you're right, that vulnerability to be like, oh yeah, we know that we could be mistaken as well. That was so fun. That video is literally the reason I have facial hair.
And
Is that Australia?
I'm curious, Max, what was it like to see the Asian version of you?
Listen, I've always been called a lesbian. When like growing up in high school, that's literally the only
As
reason.
you put your hands on your hips.
It's the only reason I have a mustache.
All right. Did you say stash?
I said mustache. I said the
Okay.
full word. Don't accuse
Okay.
me of heinous activities. Like
Okay.
that.
Well, before we leave the dock with TikTok, let's think about the best place to make your next video. And of course, that's a Virgin Voyages cruise.
Come on, chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. Never will be easy because I like my dream. Red, gold, and green.
Well, thank you, Virgin Voyages. All right. Now, who needs a shot?
Me.
It's been a long week. This is like Saturday already, isn't it? Let's play our yes or no game called I'd Swallow That. I'm going to make 4 statements, and if these hosts agree, they take the shot. I'd Swallow That, by the way, is sponsored by the LGBTQ community's favorite spirit brand. Bacardi is the world's most loved rum brand. Bacardi is as diverse as our LGBTQ plus community. Our neighbors right here in South Florida, they are the world's largest privately held spirits company. Bacardi is also a legacy name in their support of the LGBTQ plus community with sponsorships, pride embracements, and a deep and passionate support for our LGBTQ plus charities and causes. And that's why tonight It's Happening Out plays I'd Swallow That with our favorite rum drink, Bacardi. All right, here we go. Question 1. Flockfest presented a celebrity lip sync battle that was organized today at Hunter's Nightclub. Nicole Halliwell hosted the event to help rebuild Broward House due to the flooding. The battle featured various performers, including It's Happening Out host. The event started at 7 p.m. and it was a blockbuster. Question 1. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. Jonathan, Elimination, and Auntie Mame competed in the celebrity lip sync battle tonight. I'm more talented than those bitches.
Oh, hell yeah.
We all slam the shot, the Bacardi shot down.
I just can't believe that there's a place in the world that after a 3-minute song that they can get Elimination, Jonathan, and Faye to all stop talking after 3 minutes. Whatever trick that is, let's bring it to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get real. As the only semi-associated person with RuPaul's Drag Race, sashay away. Wait, no comment from you? You're just going to shake your head? No? Just hands up. Anybody?
Every time.
You know, Faye,
Where's I need elimination back.
Faye, right. Faye, it's appropriation. That's what I hear him right now. You're appropriating me. Faye won this thing last year. Apparently they didn't even...
The other competitors must have sucked.
They didn't even invite her back this year. Or at least that's the story I'm telling everybody all week. No. They didn't even want Faye to... Well, that's not true. All right.
I'm curious. I heard that there was some nudity involved.
No, that's her porn channel.
Oh, I mean, not her.
Kitchen at a Faye. What? No.
Yeah, Mondays at 9. All right, let's move on. Ask almost any gay horror fan what their favorite scary movie is, and they'll probably tell you it's Scream. Well, actually, they'll tell you it's Scream and then proceed to rank all 6 films in the franchise for you. That is so gay. We love the blend of horror and comedy. We love the meta commentary skewering the genre's tropes, and we especially love that it was created by a gay screenwriter, Kevin Williamson. Question 2. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. I love that the director of the next Scream movie is a hot gay daddy. Really?
I mean, look, there's been a slew of movies with some gay directors targeted towards the gay audience that have sucked really bad.
That's no nice way to talk about bros.
You know, that's one of them. Yeah, so I just hope that it's good because I do like the Scream franchise. It's definitely not one of the number ones if you ask a horror buff like what they like. But yeah, I'll get into it. And it reminds me of the early, late 90s, early 2000s when Neve Campbell was like a queen.
Great.
And they keep bringing her back into them. Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Courtney, right. Deputy Dewey.
Yeah, Deputy.
So I had to look.
So you dismiss Scream as not one of the big gay horror movies. What is for
gay?
Yeah.
I don't even know anything.
No, I don't. No,
Okay.
I don't mean that. I mean gay. Wait, let me correct that. LGBTQ plus community support of horror. What is a preference for LGBT in horror?
In horror, I think everybody's go-to, regardless of your orientation, of the scariest is The Exorcist.
Okay.
I think that's number one. If you're going to a comedy horror, geez, I don't know. I kind of separate those genres a little bit. There is the last Bring It On installment franchise. They turned it into a horror movie. Bring It On 5, I think, is a horror slasher flick.
There is a Bring It On 5.
Yeah, I was looking through the channels.
What did you think about Bring It On 5?
Well, first give us your review of 2, 3, and 4.
So, first of all, absolutely not. But second of all, I think that we see references in queer pop culture of Scream all the time. There's the meme that was just showed on the screens of the two right next to each other, and I once saw a meme as the funny one of the funnier ones. It's just a couple looking for a third. It's covered in blood.
To translate any?
I don't know.
Out of his mouth.
He's just kind of whispering and sultry. I've never seen any of these memes. I've never seen any of those.
Are you a big horror movie fan?
I think my sister is more of one. Y'all, you met her yesterday. She's a hoot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that she's definitely more of the horror buff than I am. But I love a good, I love a good Scream.
Is
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I like this guy though. I had to look him up because I'm really not into daddies, but he's the son of the Little House on the Prairie dude.
Yeah, that's right.
Michael Landon, who's playing this, kind of Christian religious, out in the, and then he has this hot gay son, and I have to say, I had to look how old he is. He's
by the way,
48, and
Michael Landon wasn't so good on LGBT.
Yeah, no, he was not.
He wasn't so good, I guess. And of course,
and he liked to,
may
take a shot or two.
May rest in peace. But I wonder how much he knew about his son, before his passing. Just a thought. All right. Just like LGBTQ plus on Wilton Drive, we're taking a lot of shots. Let's take a momentary break and hear from our sponsor, Bacardi Rum. Well, next up, Britney Spears. There's a lot this week. Britney Spears and her husband, Sam Asghari, have separated after a nuclear argument that involves allegations of cheating. Sources with direct knowledge told TMZ that recently Sam confronted Britney over rumors she stepped out on him, and the two had a huge fight. Sam has now moved out of the house and quote, it's only a matter of time before Sam files for divorce, end quote. That's what we hear, according to TMZ. Question 3. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. Oops, she did it again. I'm not surprised. Britney is getting divorced again.
Is it bad that I did not know that Britney Spears was married until we heard this story?
Gay cards suspended for 3 days.
Automatically.
Yeah.
This is, to me, life imitating art. It is just, she's so stuck in such a toxic kind of situation.
There's all kinds of, there's all kinds of reasons people get divorced. But let's talk about the bigger picture about Britney. Is the girl ever going to get it together? Ever?
I don't
She's got to
think
get
so.
out.
I love her so much. There's not very many people I will fanboy over. Maybe 2 people, 2 or 3, but Britney's one of them. And I just have a love for her, like from the bottom of my broken heart.
So this is sad.
That it is, because I knew it was going to happen from the beginning, because she's she's been through a horribly traumatic experience.
From the Mickey Mouse Club alone.
So she hasn't recovered.
Justin Timberlake on top of it.
Justin Timberlake on top of what?
Did you know that Justin Timberlake and Britney were an item?
I did. That was the jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the jean outfit.
I know those.
So they didn't, she has not had the time to heal from what she's been going through. I felt bad for Sam this whole time. Yeah. And I know a lot of people are coming out against Sam. But Sam
they're going to be Team Britney
has been there with her for 6 years, 7 years, something like that, through all of those ups and downs. And, to have a partner, a spouse that has the issues that she has, it's really difficult to go through. And I never thought that he would be able to take all of the trauma that she has to unpack. And she was never really ready to get married. That was just something that she kind of did. But, I wish the best for them both.
Are you Team Britney?
But you seem kind of like that Sam is on the helpful side of that whole situation when he's making tons of money on that. He has a percentage of her. This divorce is a way to probably, frankly, claim her part of what she has now, her future earnings. I don't trust him for
You don't
anything.
think that he loved her?
I don't know that. I just don't trust him. Not when he's going to red carpet stuff, leaving her behind, leaving her out of his social media, where it's looking like it's about him.
It seems like that's her choice, though.
Yeah, one thing I will say, and your comment about fanboying, I always am embarrassed to say this, and I will again be embarrassed to say this about Britney Spears. I could argue toe for toe in terms of concerts that I've seen in my life. Big names. I've seen Barbra Streisand, for example, completely different than Britney Spears. I know twice. Mm-hmm. And the best concert I've ever seen in my life is Britney Spears' Circus. It was so amazing. It was just breathtakingly amazing.
We're going to extend your gay card for 1 year.
Yes, I get to take his 3. All right. Britney Spears, gosh, we hope things get better for you and your family.
For real.
ABC's Good Morning American viewers were treated to a bachelorette party this week for one of the show's longtime anchors. As Robin Roberts and her fiancé, Amber Lane, prepare for their upcoming wedding next month, they were treated to a Key West-inspired tropical party in the show's Times Square studios in New York. People report that a few of the couple's closest friends and family members attended the celebration.
We got one more surprise for you guys. It's not a party without a cake. Okay?
Oh, I love somebody jumping out of a cake. No. He's been dying to do this for months. Here it is.
Mark, just for you. Just for you.
Again, morning show friendly. Appreciate it.
Well, the thing is, though, we don't expect you to eat that cake. We got one that you can eat. Actually, it's from Minnie, Melanie. We're going to bring it out right now.
We're going in. Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Can I just say, y'all, thank you, each and everybody who was a part of this. Thank you so much.
And Robin and Bill here, play us out.
Well, question 4 with a Bacardi shot. I'd swallow that. I love that GMA threw a big gay bachelorette party for Robin Roberts. Wait, you're not happy about it?
If that's a lesbian bachelorette party, never invite me to a lesbian bachelor. Why at a lesbian bachelorette party is a gay man popping out of the cake? I would think that would be the last thing.
More importantly, why did the cake stripper still have his shirt on? That was the most disappointing part for me.
Right there.
Truly.
We're not excited about the symbolism that GMA would do this.
I am. I will tell you, Robin Roberts, I have a special place in my heart for Robin Roberts because she came out, I think, in 2013, and that's when I came out too. And I remember she's the type.
So your sisters.
Yeah, Eskimos. No,
He's still working on it.
And I remember having the conversation with my mother about gay people. And for her, like, you know, we're all a bunch of raging queers. And I'm like, but look at Robin Roberts. Robin Roberts. You know, I was like, you watch Good Morning America sometimes. Don't you see her as a wonderful person who's not, like, it doesn't mean that you're going to go out.
And what was your mother's reaction to that observation?
She likes her. She thought, like, okay, like that kind of gay person, I'm okay with.
See?
Like if that, you know, so I love that
She doesn't take it too far.
Sure, like part of the representation that all gay people aren't the same. And I remember her whole thing was that I was going to get AIDS and die. Yeah. Like she was like, this is what's going to happen. And I'm like, Mom, there are gay people of all different stripes. Like not everybody is in the same boat. Like you're just stereotyping from the 700 Club that you watched before this. Yeah. And so I'm like, look at Robin Roberts. I was like, would you ever want to take away her happiness and her, you know, when you can put a face to a type of person instead of just stereotyping them, then it made her think for a moment like, okay, I see your point. I'm not on your team for the moment, but like it was a crack. You know, it was just a little crack that was in there. And she's always represented herself with such grace. And I just love what she represents.
You know, it's interesting to me, to the observation that you just make about your mother. Rosie O'Donnell did this on ABC a long, long time ago. It is hard to imagine that The View would have allowed this moment that we just watched. 2013, let's go back 10 years. For me, it's almost impossible to believe that Good Morning America would have done that exact same scene that we watched 10 years ago. And now we're watching Good Morning America embrace these two women and how they're celebrating. And your mother is the perfect example of why we should all be so happy about that. Because she's worried about her son and him coming out and the ramifications. You know, I hear the stories about the coming out experience, not only in terms of HIV/AIDS, but in terms of bullying and
physical
abuse
safety.
And safety and somebody, you know, a radical evangelical is going to shoot you and. In this instance, your mother is able to set that down and say, even despite my son, which I'm so worried about, I can see the possibilities of this. That seems to me a really significant step forward because it normalizes our relationship. We already know our relationships are normal. But that moment of watching that on Good Morning America and ABC embracing it and Good Morning America embracing it and saying, wait, this is just like a man and a woman. It's just like, it's okay for two men. It's okay for two women. Do y'all see that or do you disagree with that?
Absolutely. Like, I think we get so mired in all of the negative stuff that we don't celebrate the progress. And like this probably, I mean, only here we're really like, am I seeing it or in, you know, one of the LGBT news groups, but it's not something that's getting national attention in the media. And I just think that.
But don't you think that is more because, okay, that's not that big of a deal.
Exactly, which is a great thing that we should be celebrating.
I think that we've lived for the day that things like this happen and it is not newsworthy.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Like we live for the day that this is just.
Wait, I want to make sure
whatever.
that we've landed the plane in this. I'd swallow that. between the three of us that we've concluded that Mark Pettitt is wrong. Have we all agreed on that? Okay.
I mean, I would have liked for the cake stripper to not have a shirt. Let's be. I want to put it on the record.
Okay.
But aside from that,
I'm just saying the party planning could be tweaked. It wasn't important, dear Lord.
We all don't need the same things. Okay. All right. That's I'd Swallow That. Next up is our segment that we call the best thing of the week. Each week at It's Happening Out, we celebrate great things in our community. Best Thing of the Week is sponsored by Israel's national airline, El Al. El Al was born in 1948, the same year that the state of Israel was born, and it is an expression of national existence and pride. We love that word. And this pride is self-evident in South Florida. El Al features nonstop service from Miami to one of the world's great LGBTQ plus destinations. That's Israel. And this fall, El Al will connect the two LGBTQ plus capitals of the world, which is Tel Aviv and Fort Lauderdale, with seasonal service nonstop between the two cities, and next spring adding extensive flights between Fort Lauderdale and Tel Aviv. And that's why El Al sponsors the Best Thing of the Week. This week, it's talking about the 3rd annual Trans Life Awards. It is one of the first events to kick off this year's Atlanta Black Pride Month. The Trans Life Awards is the first event of its kind in the nation, founded by community leaders Dwayne Queen in 2021 with the help of Atlanta Black Pride and the Life Atlanta organization. This year, awardees include Atlanta's favorite drag queen, Taylor Alexander, named Pioneer of Inspiration, alongside Director of Community Engagement for the Transgender Justice Initiative, Tori Cooper, who will be named Pioneer of Culture. This year's Pioneer of the Year will go to trans activist Alex Santiago, who is on the advisory board of the Mayor's Division of LGBTQ Affairs, Atlanta LGBTQ+, and founder of the I Am Human Foundation. The awards take place on September 2nd, and the best thing of this week, Atlanta Black Pride Month, starts with the Trans Life Awards. What do we think? Trans Life
I think
Awards.
the fact that this event is starting with the Trans Life Awards. In college it was always LGB, and there was the whole debate about adding the T, and they only got added on at the very end. I think it's not lost on me the significance that they're kicking off this the whole event. And it's not just focusing on trans people at a gay event as entertainment, that it's really getting into the lives and the meaning of what they've contributed. So I think this is huge.
Yeah. What do y'all think?
There's no better kickoff, right? To be able to focus on the people who've given the LGBT community at large their rights, like LGBT, trans people of color, trans women of color.
They picked up the first brick.
Exactly, and to give them for the people who picked up the first brick to also get that first moment of this month is so critical and so important for recognizing the contributions of trans people of color, and I'm ecstatic about this.
Yeah.
I didn't know they picked is Marsha, she was trans?
Between her and Sylvia Rivera, there's trans representation in the beginning, in the very initiation of Stonewall. Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I think that trans people, as much conservative media is taken every day, like, I feel so terrible for trans people. They really are the worst marginalized group of people in America at the time. I mean, maybe everywhere in the world too. But and just so sadistically, for no real end goal other than political gain. Like, they're really just sacrificing these people they're people with feelings and lives, So I'm glad that it starts out with that, and that there's going to be maybe more pride celebrations and parades that start out with that, or at least have a large trans component to it. And I love it seems like their marketing is great. They have a lot of kind of people involved. It's beautiful colors. It just seems like an event that you want to go to.
One last thing that I think is interesting about the trans community and what Atlanta is doing. I went in July to the Pride March at Medellin in Colombia. And I had read in advance that in the march, it was different than other kinds of parades in that it is a parade, but you're invited to participate in the parade, and therefore it becomes a march. I had no conceptual idea of what that really meant. What that really meant is if 100,000 people show up, 94,000 of them are walking in the parade, mostly dancing in the parade, in among all of the floats with DJs on every single one of them. It is a musical festival of the march. And Medellin Pride this year completely embraced the celebration of the trans community in Colombia. And I have never in my life anywhere in America seen an embracement of the trans community like I saw in Medellin. And I have noticed this in multiple places of very progressive communities for LGBT and other places in America. One of them, frankly, Havana in Cuba and other places where they frankly are doing a better job than we are here in the United States in the embracement of the trans community. We are not the beginning and the end of everything LGBT. So I congratulate Atlanta for this, and they become leadership for all of us to follow and pay attention to, because exactly as you said, our trans community needs an extra bit of help, support, and push. Well, next, each week at It's Happening Out, we ask our host about what is important to them. But there is a twist. In the twist, it must be in just 30 seconds, or you're going to hear this bell. And we call this segment, What's on Your Mind? Sponsored by Jet's Pizza. I'm sure I know who's going first. Show the pizza any moment. And what's on our mind is deep dish Detroit-style pizza, or perhaps the cauliflower thin crust. Jets have been with It's Happening Out for 4 years, and their Bigger is Better campaign captured our attention. And of course, they're talking about the size of their slices. What did you think we were talking about? Jets supports a huge variety of LGBTQ plus events and nonprofits. With more than 400 locations nationwide, they are considered one of the best franchise opportunities in America. And this is why Jets Pizza is our sponsor of What's on My Mind. All right, Mark Pettitt, let's start with you. What's on your mind this week?
That is an easy one. My husband finally comes from 4 months of working off-site up in Massachusetts, so it is a whole new world in about 3 days.
Trying to figure out what that means.
Oh, you're going to see. It's going to look like I got Botox in my entire body.
Okay, all right.
That's it. Not going to complicate it.
So what's on your mind is sex.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
A facial.
And TriniDaddy, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind is I went to a 22-year-old college rager frat party.
Saw the post.
And I had a great time. At first, I went in there and and the best thing about it to me.
Where was this at?
It's somebody's house in Miami.
Okay.
They were down from college break, just having been back from a study abroad, and just had a big party for all their high school friends and college friends. And I went to it, and what was so interesting to me is how generations have changed, right? So it was the same kind of party that I remember as a kid, there's this person throwing up on one side of the yard. There's another person that's trying to have sex on the other side of the yard. There's 3 couples inside the pool, all of that stuff. But there was one gay dude there, and they knew who this gay guy was. And then he was talking to me. So then they asked me, "Are you gay?" And I said, "Yeah." First response out of their mouth from these bros were, "You should get laid tonight." And I was like,
"Will you help me?"
I was like, "That's fantastic." And he goes, "My body counts 4. What's yours?" And I go, it's quite a bit more, but I'm not exactly sure I should be telling you all this stuff. And they're like, "Why not?" And I said, "I think I'm a little bit older than you all." So they thought I was kind of in their age group.
Child,
so then I told them.
They thought I was 25.
So that's the number they said. So
what a coincidence.
So then they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're that old?" And they're like, "Tell us about your what you've done." They're like, "Have you done a threesome? Have you done an orgy?" And I had a whole group of them around me, and it was like story time from the gay elder in this college frat party, telling them, and we had the best time together.
All right. Now we're playing the We're playing the game bullshit.
I had
anyone
no
gonna
idea
call
that
him
the
out?
School of the Blind had rager parties.
Wow.
Okay, well, good for you.
Thank you.
Not very believable, but good for you. And Maxx Fenning?
I do
what's
not.
on your
TriniDaddy
mind?
does not lie.
What's on my mind is the GOP presidential debate. I have been searching all day for
going on right now.
Yes, and I've been searching all day for a watch party, and I'm so excited that there is in fact one at Hamburger Mary's. Because if I'm gonna watch Republicans out stupid each other, I want to make it a party, and I want there to be alcohol at that party.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited. I just saw I'm on the youth council for the FDP. They just shared a bingo, a drinking bingo for the GOP, and I'm sure because they just say the same things over and over again that I'm gonna fill it.
I'm translating for our viewers. When he quickly says FDP, he means the Florida
Democratic Party. That's right.
Yeah. And the most exciting thing for you to do this watch party of the craziness on Fox News is the drinking, not that drag queens are present.
There's that too.
there's that
both of it's
too.
fun. Sorry, I just turned 21. I'm automatically an alcoholic. I'm in college.
Okay. All right. Very good. And thank you very much. And you forgot the drag queens. I cannot wait to tell Athena Dion. All right. And also on our mind is the great Jets Pizza.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Well, our Hotspots magazine will celebrate 39 years this fall. It has been documenting the LGBTQ plus lifestyle and is the inspiration of our Hotspots queer entertainment this week. And it's sponsored by the Broward Center for Performing Arts. In the LGBTQ plus community, we always make jokes about size matters. When it comes to Broward Center, size does matter. The Broward Center is the destination of choice for the LGBTQ plus South Florida community for spectacular entertainment in a large variety of performance venues. Broward Center ranks among the top 10 most visited theaters in the world, presenting more than 700 performances a year to more than 700,000 patrons. And Broward Center supports one of the world's largest gay communities of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, and really all of South Florida. They support that LGBTQ plus community and are nonprofits unlike any theater in South Florida. We are excited to tell you about upcoming shows. And did you know that surveys show that the LGBTQ plus community participates in live theater performances 2.5 times more often than our straight counterparts? And that's why they're the sponsor of Hotspots Queer Entertainment this week. LGBTQ plus fans of Doctor Who have been treated to several announcements in recent months confirming that the upcoming 60th anniversary specials and the following 14th season will feature an abundance of queer talent. And while Sex Education and Barbie star Shirley Gatwa will lead the show as the 15th incarnation of the Doctor himself. He'll be joined by Heartstopper trans icon Yasmin Finney as Rose. Yet it turned out that Finney wasn't the only trans star who had been booked on the show. Apart from the above names, Pete McHale would become the first trans man to ever star in the hit show. The cast also includes queer names like Jinx Monsoon, trans actor Mary Malone, Gemma Aerosmith, Billy Brayshaw, and Hollyoaks star Mahid, and I can't even pronounce the last name. The Hotspots Queer Entertainment is another trans actress appearing in Doctor Who. Means even more LGBTQ plus talent. What do we think about Doctor Who?
I am so excited about this. I grew up watching Doctor Who. It is quintessential to my childhood, and so seeing LGBT representation here is absolutely amazing. To be able to see a gay man playing the Doctor as well. First of all, when I saw Barbie and I saw that there were multiple people from the Sex Education cast, we also had Emma Mackey on the Barbie movie as well. I was ecstatic. I'm ecstatic to see them here as well. And I'm excited to see trans representation expanded in this show. It's so important, and especially for like sci-fi nerds, which I am that is intrinsic to my childhood. It's just so amazing and so spectacular.
And when you say you're a sci-fi nerd, does that translate into major franchises like Star Trek and Star Wars, or it's the more obscure?
I think. Well, I don't think Doctor Who is obscure, but it definitely holds a
Doctor
significant
Who
part of my heart. I mean, I think that we saw a big uptick in U.S. audience in like 2012, and that's really when I got a hold of it. And it's just so. It just is such an impactful show in my childhood, and so I'm excited about this.
Yeah, one of my absolute favorite shows as well. And I think this really just goes to show why so many gay sci-fi people are associated with it. They're always pushing boundaries, being more welcoming than almost any other genre of show. When you just look at like what Star Trek did in terms of interracial, intergender, even being the first to present intersexed. Now, they always have to do it under like an alien guise, but it was really the most groundbreaking to me genre that there is.
And Doctor Who, you're a fan?
I hate British TV. So I knew that these two would have like a lot to say on it, so I was hoping they'd run out, the clock on it. But I guess I'll just say that I'm glad that trans people are being represented. I just thought in my mind, and I could be wrong because I don't watch British television, that they were more progressive and they already had a lot of these characters and like trans and gay people on there, and that this wasn't that groundbreaking. But I guess since you all are saying that it is, then I guess it is.
I'm curious. This is a different kind of scripted performance than Jinx Monsoon normally does. Do we think Jinx will be good in this or not?
As long as she's evil, she'll be phenomenal.
Yeah, evil? You think she'll be evil?
Oh, from the makeup and hair that they're previewing?
Yeah.
She's not going to be nice.
Are you a fan of
It's
Jinx
giving
Monsoon?
The Mistress is what it's giving. And Dr.
Yes.
Who.
You're a fan of Jinx?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that she fits right in line with this show and the vibes of this show, and I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I can't wait. And of course, I'm a fan of Doctor Who.
Is he an actual doctor?
Well, it's too hard to explain in this.
Sorry.
And there are people. I hear people in TV land laughing at this moment. Does anybody? One last question. Does anybody have problems with all of the changes of the Doctor?
No, that's intrinsic to the show, right? That's why it's lasted so long. It's because we're able to cycle through the cast. We're able to find new people and find new faces, and to be able to now that is really being taken full advantage of to increase the representation on the show is amazing.
I think it's a big part of
the counter of that. Some Doctors you love, and some Doctors you don't love.
Yeah, sure.
That's it.
Yeah, of course. There's going to be, I feel like everyone who is a Doctor Who fan has their favorite Doctor, their favorite, their favorite actor. But I think that's the fun of it, is that we can cycle through, we get new faces, we get new people to really take up the face of this iconic role.
Without the show jumping the shark.
Shut up.
It's built into mythology.
So I remember Doctor Who as a child. Like is this the same thing?
It's like 1950.
Yeah,
1969. Yeah.
Oh,
it's been
1963.
And they've just been rebooting it like decade after decade.
And there have been so many Doctors. They continue to refreshen the show with a new Doctor and new storylines, and it's been going on for 50.
Like a soap opera, kind of like Days of Our Life. That's meaning just like that. It's the same show that continues.
It's part of the mythology of the show that the Doctor kind of can only stay in one form for so long, so he dies and regenerates.
Oh, it's sci-fi for real.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's sci-fi, but I think with definitely an extra dash of camp.
Yeah, he's a time traveling alien. Yeah. So it's definitely sci-fi.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or she, depending on
or she again.
Which season.
Can be now they.
It could be.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's our entertainment. And speaking of Hotspot's queer entertainment, here's a quick glimpse of the venues that are part of the Broward Center.
The Broward Center for the Performing Arts, Parker Playhouse, Aventura Arts and Cultural Center, Rose and Alfred Miniachi Performing Arts Center. 4 venues that together bring a wealth of excitement to our community through the performing arts. The Broward Center for the Performing Arts is the center for world-class live entertainment, arts education, special events, dining, and more.
Well, thank you, Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Up next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral. This is the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. And supporting that partnership, we're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International service at 10:30 a.m. every week. Well, up next is our hot topic. Who decided, and I'm asking it now, who decided that short hair is for men and long hair is for women? Society, to be frank, dating back centuries, as suggested by historic paintings, statues, and artifacts. Autumn Whitfield Madrano, the author of Face Value, The Hidden Ways Beauty Shapes Women's Lives, pointed out recently, and correctly in an issue of Psychology Today, that was a fact. She said, quote, "Certainly in our culture, hair length is a loose, societal, structured form of sexual dimorphism, or a trait that differentiates between the sexes," end quote. Celebrities have defied social constructs for decades, including gender-based hair, but they are the anomalies. Most people follow convention, wearing their hair lengths and styles deemed socially acceptable. But that is until now. Long and short gender-based hair is evolving and becoming more fluid. You know that the radical GOP just loves this. This week's hot topic is, why are some hairstyles considered male or female? What do y'all think?
I think this is an attack on my lesbian haircut, and I'm not standing for it for another minute, Al Ferguson.
I've noticed that.
But no, seriously, but with long hair, there's a reason why like drag queens do bigger hair. It makes their face look smaller. It's really trying to kind of force that the women are the smaller and the cuter. And when you don't have any hair, it makes your facial features look bigger, more dominant. But yeah, I think it's all BS. Now moving forward.
I also think it's all BS. I mean, also, if we look back in history, we see that it was popular for men to have long hair for the longest time, alongside women. So I don't even necessarily agree with this like assertion that this assertion that this is like the differentiating for a significant differentiating factor throughout history, because it's not really the case. If you look back throughout history, that men have had long hair for going back
Greeks,
eons.
Romans.
Going back eons, exactly. And it's really a relatively new phenomenon that we see over the past 200 years, that we've seen short hair become like the male thing or the man thing. So I don't even agree with this.
I started thinking about it the way that you're talking about it, like the long hair, like biblical times, men had long hair and everything. And I think it actually has to do with beauty. I think long hair, when it's well kept and oiled and, coiffed, is beautiful. Yeah. And I think whichever sex is supposed to be beautiful and is kind of who has the long hair in that society. And I think in a lot of older past civilizations, men, like the male standard of beauty was the ultimate perfection. And I think having that long hair just like tousled and blowing in the wind, was more acceptable for men at that time because they were just seen as the better, the more evolved sex, So I think now, in our American society, women are supposed to be beautiful, men are supposed to be muscular, that can protect women. And I think that kind of standard of beauty is there. I do agree with many of the hairstylists who are saying that, regardless if you're a male or a female, it takes longer for me to cut your hair. So I want to be able to charge the same price. And I'd like to say I am against all of that because I have shorter hair and I don't want to have to pay for a women's priced haircut the same way that a man has to pay for when I have my hair longer. So, I mean, selfishly, I'm against it, but, in my heart, I'm for it. And thank you for coming to my Trini talk.
Yeah, I was going to say, and do we agree with that observation that through history, the more beautiful of the sex was the longer hair?
I think maybe to some extent, but I think that the ways in which we classify beauty, the ways in which we associate different physical traits with personality traits or things like that is varied so widely across geographic area, across time, so significantly. And so I think that I feel like it's so much more complex and so much more fluid than that. And that's why we've seen that change.
Does it make any difference in terms of the reflection of beauty and the hairstyle for men and women? Does it make any difference if you're gay looking at, let's say gay men looking at men or gay men looking at women? Do we digest hair length differently because of our sexual orientation?
I think we have to. I mean, just from the very first TikTok here, you can't just make the assumption from across the room that because you see short hair on the side and a cute little flip up front that
you're a lesbian.
You are really one to talk tousled. I can't believe nobody on this panel has called you out for how lesbian that. Look at it. That is hennaed and curled, ready
it's
for the
beauty.
lesbian.
Do you know that takes
beauty
3
right
hours
here.
to get it to that too?
Just to look that bad.
Probably Mark will.
We can tell.
Really. What
There's
was
no Dylan here.
the romance novels, the women's romance stuff?
Fabio. Yeah.
Fabio's long flowing hair. I watched a documentary once upon a time that Fabio was a model for many of straight women's romance novels.
Mm-hmm.
They were considered light and fluffy, kind of mildly titillating genre for straight women. And for them, a study concluded that kind of hair mane that Fabio represented was absolutely beautiful for women. Now, gay men probably would have looked at that and said, oh, absolutely not. So
no, I'll tell you why. Because if you Game of Thrones, what's that guy's name that you all like? Jason Momoa. When everybody was into Jason Momoa, it has to do with if you have muscles or not. If you have muscles and you're all portraying a masculine sensibility, then the long hair is fine because then it can be beautiful and then you can admire them.
But
as
I think
beautiful.
the question is our perception different in looking at that person attractive versus not? From a gay perspective, I would say I think that it is. I think you would have gay men in a higher proportion saying that they don't really like long hair, whereas I think women probably have about maybe a third up to a half that would say,
that's what the study concluded, is that women liked men with long flowing hair.
So you would rather cut Jason Momoa's hair short in Game of
heartbeat.
Thrones?
Whatever the other part of the question is, the answer is yes.
And where on what part of the body do we want to? That gets me into all kinds of
just don't want it in my face.
We should
when
have
we're
that
on
as a
top
topic because I have a lot to say on that.
All right. Well, fortunately for all of you, that's it. Another week with It's Happening Out. You sat right here at the LGBTQ plus kitchen table as we kikied on many of the things that we thought were important to our community. We invite you to follow our 501c3 nonprofit experiment. Is our LGBTQ plus community important to you? Our mission at Happening Out Television Network means we deeply believe it is. So thank you for joining us and taking a little time I was going to say to enjoy the view, but that probably is copyrighted somewhere, and have some fun with us. Remember, if it's important to you, it's happening out. Good night, everyone.